What are you laughing at?
What?
What are you laughing at?
I am laughing because I am happy. I am happy about today's guest.
Yeah, it's a breathologist. Is that correct?
Yes, she is
Yeah.
a certified breathologist. She is also a Breath Sekou. That means she's a master teacher of the breath. And
And what?
And also a laughter yoga teacher.
Oh, you gonna have fun with that, but I want to learn how to breathe because that's the fundamentals, and everybody's skipping over the fundamentals.
The fundamentals, yeah. Breathing is important because
I know CPR, but you on your own.
Welcome back. Today we have Ayo Handy-Kendi, known as the Breath Sekou. She is a certified breathologist, laughter yoga teacher, Reiki Master, life coach, performer, and passionate student and master teacher of the breath since 1970. She has used breath techniques to personally overcome many adversities and has breathed worldwide with billions on radio, TV, in print, on stage, and via the internet and in private practice. Notably, she has appeared on Steve Harvey's Morning Show and Roland Martin's News Hour. She is the founder of Optimum Life Breathology, Transcendence Breathwork, Black Love Day, which takes place on February 13th. She is also the founder and director of the African American Holiday Association and CEO of Positive Energy Works, LLC. She is an author, speaker, storyteller whose focus on culture and holistic health is embodied in her Power of the Breath and Keepers of the Culture series of books, plays, DVDs, and CDs. As a sound healer composer, she performs with her husband, featured as Earth Love Tune-Up Crew. The crew. She is host producer of Breath Shops on an international webcast. As a degree counselor and community organizer, she has been in the leadership of many movements and now is fostering a breath movement to relax our minds and stay productive and peaceful in these reactionary times and to empower us to our greatness despite these. Well, welcome, Ayo. Thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
Thank you. We give thanks and praise.
Yes, gotta praise him. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely. Praise him.
Thank you.
But you are a certified breathologist.
Yes.
Okay. So for the people that don't know, what is that?
Okay. I am very thankful and grateful again to be here. And I'm very excited about being able to share about being a breathologist and the power of the breath. A breathologist is a practitioner who works with breathing techniques, and the concept that I created over 10 years ago called breathology. Breathology is the art and science of breath awareness, the techniques that we use in breathing that maximize every single breath that we take, and how breathing works. Just like a car has mechanics, breathing also has mechanics.
You know what?
So you have to understand the mechanics of how do we breathe.
Exactly. And I myself, as well as my brother, we're health teachers, and we talk about the involuntary actions, and breathing, respiration, breathing is one of them.
Yes.
And we really don't think about
We don't
how
think
we're
about
breathing.
breathing
And
until we can't
breathe.
breathe.
I can't breathe.
Right.
No, but Gregory, you said you had a question about what you wanted to ask her about. You said, "Am I what? You what?
Oh, am I breathing right? Am I
Yes.
breathing correct?
Yes.
You're alive, aren't you?"
Yeah, but that don't mean you're doing it right.
Yes, and he answered that. He asked the question, am I breathing right? And your answer is what I answer all the time. You're alive. That means you are breathing. Yet there is a more effective way to breathe. And there are many ways in which each of us breathe, establish a breathing pattern, but that does not necessarily mean it's the most effective pattern, even for us, our own unique breathing pattern. See, we're breathing based on the shape of our nose, the trunk shape of our chest shape, belly shape. All of that relates to how you breathe differently than your sister. each of us have different lung capacities, okay? And the way that we utilize inhale, exhale, mouth, nose, all of that relates to your totally unique breath pattern compared to yours, compared to mine. So when I teach concepts of breathing, I stay away from right and wrong because you're alive. You wouldn't be here if you weren't breathing at all,
but
right?
It's about being
But
most
your
effective.
effectiveness, yes, an effective breath. Scientists, health practitioners have all been looking at the ancient practices of breathing and have been able to look at where we are today in modern society. And they have come to a common breath technique that they have delineated, enables us to get the most oxygen from every breath that we take. And that breath technique is a deep breath, right across the lower portion of our bodies, right here at the diaphragm, right? So diaphragmatic breathing is also called deep breathing, also called conscious breathing. They're all the same concepts, different names, but they relate to when we inhale. This one simple shift makes a life-changing difference in every breath that we take.
Got me wanting to sing.
Every breath you take. Every breath you take. So on average, we take 20,000 breaths a day, 15 to 18 breaths a minute. If all of that breathing could be really full, you know, I'm demonstrating a full, deep, expansive breath. Yes, most of us breathe
very shallow.
Very shallow.
Right.
Barely, you know, the breath is barely moving. You know, I literally have to touch people's chest and their belly to be able to define from which aspect of their breathing they have fallen into a very unfortunate, unhealthy pattern of shallow breathing. But they're breathing so shallow, you can't even hardly, I can't even look at the person and see it. I have to touch their breathing because the breathing is just barely minimal. Which means, of course, if you're barely breathing, you're barely alive.
That's true, and that's just so important because through breathing, that's where we get our oxygen.
We get our
oxygen. And if
oxygen.
we don't get our oxygen, I mean, we're depriving ourselves of really the energy that they need to survive.
To do all the functions.
You know, especially. So that, I mean, it's just so important.
Yeah.
I know for myself, growing up, I had an issue with sinuses, allergies.
Okay.
You know, so I always breathe through my mouth, and I breathe quite loud. People are like, why you breathe so loud? Close your mouth. And I was like, I can't breathe any other way, you know.
Do it, yeah.
But learning how to breathe is so important. And you just think about, you know, when things happen in life, I know as a teacher, sometimes when I see conflict and students are acting up, the first thing when they come to me, I say, breathe, slow down, just breathe, like take a breath. You know, we tell each other when we get excited or we get into something, we say, wait, slow down, breathe. Athletes, when they're training, we have to teach them, my runners, I have to teach them how to breathe.
Yes.
Breathing is so important because, again, they don't think about it's that oxygen that they need. Not only is it important, obviously, the workout, the working of the muscles, development, all that stuff, but you need the oxygen, which is the most basic fuel.
I mean, that's it. Without the oxygen, you know, we can live anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes, but we can live without food for 45 days or more. We can live without water for 21 or more days, but without the breath of life, 6 to 8 minutes, we're going on home to glory.
After 4 minutes, you know, the brain
is going brain dead.
You're going to start to have some damage to the brain. That's what,
and unfortunately, that's how I started working with the breath. My son was hit over the head and was left and went brain dead and was put on a oxygen machine. And it was for me the aha moment that enabled me to have a better understanding as to the importance of this thing that, you know, I also was studying at that time, but I really had that moment where I was able to see the difference between life and death based on if you plug a person, you take a person off the machine, you unplug him, he couldn't breathe. Yet he still was not breathing efficiently and effectively on the machine. So we can keep a person on a machine and give them artificial life. We can put them on any oxygen machine. You have artificial life, but it's nothing like real full life coming, flowing in and out of your body 20,000 times a day. And you being able to voluntarily have mastery over it. You know, we can't master the heartbeat and the involuntary motion. The heart's going to beat, you know. You can't tell the brain shut down. Involuntary, it's going to happen. Our breathing will happen until we can't breathe. But different from the heart and the brain, you can use breathing techniques to play with them and massage them and effectively breathe fuller and diminish the breath if we need to. And we can use a breath technique to wake us up in the morning or help us put us to sleep at night. It's so many wonderful, wonderful things.
Well, that's what we want to
do with our breathing.
Get into next, because you've talked about there's many breathing techniques, and I'm sure people are like, well, what is the technique? Could somebody tell me? I need to know.
Yeah.
So, so when we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss some specific, quick and specific techniques that a person can do, maybe to help them relax, or maybe to help them maximize their performance. Because like you said, you know, lung capacity, all that stuff, you know, one of the things you do with athletes when you're trying to assess their fitness level is you assess their Vo2 Max.
Yes.
So that basically you're assessing how much oxygen they're able to take in to their body.
Yes.
So, and that's very important.
Yes.
Because breath is life.
Yes. And there's life in the breath.
I think I'll coin that phrase. Trademark that for me. Breath is life.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back.
All right.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
All right, we're back now with Ayo Handy-Kendi, our certified breathologist, and Breath Sekou, which is master teacher.
Yes.
A master teacher. But now is the time of the show where we'll bring in Gregory, because he's been sitting over there itching to get into something.
I was so excited when I found out that you were going to be on the show, because fundamentals, for me, fundamentals is where it starts and stops. I'm not going past the fundamentals. I just want to master the fundamentals. And so many people breathe wrong. Well, like we said, not wrong, but ineffectively. So I want you to show me how to breathe effectively. And not just like, Veronica, you always talk, not always talk about, but when people think about breathing, they talk about the stress, how it relieves stress, which is cool, which is good. But we're going to go further. You were talking to me about a technique that helps connect your consciousness with well, you said, speak on the conscious connection breath technique.
Sure, Greg. Every single conscious raising activity that I think that enhances our consciousness, you will find that the fundamental or the foundation of that technique is the breath. So you think of shiatsu, judo, tai chi, yoga, of course, meditation, mindfulness, on and on and on, almost every technique. And when you think of athletes in their need to maximize their performance, you think of actors who need to maximize performance. Speakers, all of us have to maximize our performance. The breath is instrumental to have mastery over, because you want to bring in the maximum amount of oxygen into the lungs to expand the ability to have the stamina through the breaths, bringing in that energy level into our ability to move faster, speak louder, stronger, more forceful, every single way in which we connect on consciousness. We think of every single sacred book speaks of the breath and how spirit breathes some breath into humankind.
Exactly. Talk about
Every
breathe
single
life into
sacred
something.
book. So we want to work with children. We need to work with their consciousness early on through the breath.
So what is it he's
You were
talking about that?
connecting. You say you were connecting with spirits also, you could hear them?
Well, not so much spirit, but spirit, the spirit of the Creator, the spirit of the Creator. So, you know, the Bible speaks of breathing some of the Creator or God's spirit into humankind, and we became living beings. And so does the Quran, and so does the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and the Mormon book. All of these sacred books speak of the Creator, God's breathing spirit, or the Creator spirit into our being. And so when we think of how we need to translate that on a practical level today, I think young people need to be in touch with their breathing. And this is what I do when I work with children. I teach them concepts of mindfulness, being able to be aware of every breath that they take. And I like to share with you by watching you and just checking you.
Let's share.
And checking to see how your breathing pattern is.
Yes,
So this
let's
is
check
what
him.
we do, Greg.
Check
I want
him.
you to put one hand on your chest. I want you to take the thumb of the opposite hand. And I want you to take the thumb, and I want you to connect right at your belly button, right? And I want you to put the other 4 fingers flat just below your belly, and everyone at home can do this, okay? I've done this on billions and billions with billions and billions of people, radio, TV, and print. Simply allow yourself to breathe. Close your eyes and focus attention on your breathing. Don't try to impress me. Just breathe like you normally breathe.
Are you breathing?
Now, you're watching him, right? You see
Nothing,
right? He's a shallow breather. Allow yourself, Greg, to focus on the breathing. And as we're watching him, if the camera panned in, you would notice that Greg's hand is either breathing from his upper portion of his chest, or the hand is breathing on the belly. Inhaling into the hand on the belly means his belly should be moving in and out, in and out. So Greg, this is what I want you to do. I want you to breathe into the hand on your belly. Inhale, allow the belly to come out. There you go. Exhale, the belly comes in. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, belly in. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, belly in. Now Greg is taking what's called a really deep breath. If you camera can see the significant change from his breathing deep into his body. Yes, his shirt's coming in and out. So Greg, on the count of 3, we're going to bring you out of exercise. 1, 2, 3. Slowly begin to open your eyes.
He was cheating his eyes.
Very good. Yeah, he came out a little bit quicker. That's all right. Greg, tell us how you feel now.
I felt like it was more work.
Yes, it is because it's because you're new at breathing deep in the belly. So it is work. Anything that you relearn or you have to shift, it can be work. But within a month, you will go back to the pattern that you had when you were a baby. If you ever notice a baby is breathing from the diaphragm because the upper portion of the lungs aren't formed for some children until they're 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They just see this baby's belly naturally going up and down. Well, we're all belly breathers as infants. And we learn and shift the belly breath to a high chest breath because we're not reinforced to breathe from our bellies. If I was a teacher today, one of the best things we could give our children to master stress, to master this life that we live in is full of changes and it's constant energy, it's a constant need to be able to go faster and to be able to produce. Father, I would master breathing by helping our children stay in their diaphragmatic breath pattern. I would find ways to teach our children to lay down in the classroom, put a book on their belly and practice breathing from their belly. I would play games with children and have them actually look at each other, because you learn a lot by watching someone else breathe, just like we watch you not breathe, right? We were able to watch you not breathe,
You were
right?
breathing, but you
weren't
weren't
effectively breathing. And so ineffective breathing, if you continue to do that, you know, there's depression that comes from ineffective breathing. Our children today are struggling with depression, panic attacks, all kinds of anxiety attacks. Children could actually allow themselves to just breathe from their belly instead of their chest. Because when you breathe from your chest, you maximize all the stress and tension from a limited breath, where there's a skeleton wall that protects the upper portion of our lungs with a small limited space for the lungs to be able to expand. So we're attempting on 20,000 times a day to do something that our body cannot do. Imagine the stress and strain 20,000 times a day, trying to force our body into a behavior that it wasn't never designed to do.
Well, that is, you know, that's interesting. That's interesting. And so what you showed, Gregory, was just something that young people, that anybody can do to work on diaphragmatic breathing.
Yes, everybody
and
can do this.
And to increase the oxygen. But I want to quickly talk about laughter yoga.
Okay.
That's my thing. So I assume it is what it says. It's what it sounds like.
Yes.
It's doing yoga and you are laughing throughout the practice.
Yes, but it's more than that.
Okay.
Laughter yoga, I'm blessed to be a certified laughter yoga teacher and leader. And laughter yoga allows us to utilize a breath pattern as we laugh. And so when we simply open up our mouth and go, ha, 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 what are we doing? We are ha, 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 ha. We are breathing through our diaphragm. So every time we laugh, every time we utilize the laughter technique, we play, laugh, we increase the oxygenation of the body.
So when I'm doing Warrior One, am I laughing?
If you are laughing.
Oh, I mean, is that like what you should be doing? Like when you're holding your pose, you're laughing too?
Well, if you are allowing yourself to laugh and enjoying the laughter, yes. I mean, the idea is that we say fake it till you make it. If you can bring in laughter in any type of technique, anytime during the day, anytime when you're working with anyone, allow yourself the smile, allow what comes with the smile, allow what comes with the laughter. We bring in all sorts of wonderful hormones, dopamine, and we decrease all of the cholesterol. We increase all of the stress hormones that come from poor breathing when we're able to laugh. We're simply able to laugh. So you relax yourself, calm your nerves, and relax your mind through laughter yoga.
Okay, well, it is time for us to take a break. And so we are going to skedaddle out of here on, on some laughter. Oh, you know you would laugh on.
I want to breathe some more.
Well, you keep breathing, we'll keep laughing, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Yes, I had to yawn, and no, that wasn't a mistake. I did it on purpose because yawning, I just found out, is actually very good. It's very helpful for us. So many times when we're growing up, they say, or just even now, stop yawning. You're going to make me yawn. Don't do that no more. Stop. And you're telling me that yawning is very good, and there's actually a technique for yawning that especially the athletes can do.
Yes.
That's very good. If
Yes.
you want to tell us about that real quick.
Certainly, yes. Yawning is a breath technique, as well as laughing and screaming and singing, all breath techniques. Anything that helps you utilize this diaphragm better is a breath technique. And we tell our children very early in life, you know, don't yawn, you look like you're bored, or don't yawn, that's not respectful. A lot of ways in which we tell people yawning is not appropriate in our society, yet yawning clears our air passage, and with each yawn that we take, clearing the air passage enables more oxygen to get to the lower parts of the lungs.
So when you're yawning, that's your body's mechanism for letting you know that you're oxygenated.
Yes. Under oxygenated. Yes.
Oxygenated.
Yeah, it's kind of hard word.
Yeah, oxygenated. It didn't sound like what am I saying that right?
Right.
So what's the technique?
You force the yawn. You inhale in. Make yourself yawn. Really stretch. Inhale again. Come on, Greg. Come on. Let's inhale, yawn.
Shirt too tight.
Really stretch.
Shirt too
Come
tight.
on, one more time. One more time. Inhale. Y'all not really not yawning good. You're just throwing your arms out. That is not a yawn. Come on, Greg. Yawn. Inhale. Yawn. Okay, because see, we want, there you go. Really stretch it out. Okay, one more time. Ring it out, push it out. Then push your belly way back in, and then watch what's going to happen in the next couple of minutes. You may find yourself naturally opening up the breath mechanism because we force oxygen down into the lower portion of our lungs. So we actually have a whole group of students, a whole slew of students standing around yawning, and they play a game with it. Then they may laugh, and that adds oxygen into them, and then I may have them relax with their breath technique, their deep breathing technique. We encourage our parents and our teachers all day long, have your students yawn, because every time they bring in more oxygen, clear the air passage, increasing the oxygen flow to the brain. So it's a wonderful technique to help our students do better on any performance, be it on the sports field or in the classroom for tests.
Wow, that's very, and you know, remember during standardized tests, and they always used to give us a break. You said, stand up, stretch, yawn, you know,
Yeah, stretch
whatever,
it out,
get, you know, get that, you know.
That's
And
right.
of course, when you see little baby, I know like Vanessa when she was little, she used to.
Yeah, and you see our animals, all the animals, they stretch.
The lions, the tigers, the bears, oh
our
my.
Our dogs, our cats,
Yeah,
all of
they
them have their little
still
yawn and
stretch.
their stretch, yes.
Yeah, so even the animals know.
They know.
So that's what Veronica was thinking about, like, you know, I need to get my yawning on, I need to get my stretch on just so I can.
Bring in the breath. Or bring up the breath. Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Gregory, as we close it out?
So,
Quickly.
you said about 30 days. How long do I need to practice that? How many
Very
minutes?
good concept. Yes. In about 30 days, your natural breath pattern, more often than not, comes back with practice.
Okay.
What you knew as a baby, breathing from the diaphragm, gets reawakened. The memory gets reawakened. The more we make that connection, it's as if our cells never forget anything. They have an innate intelligence. All we're doing is reconnecting and reawakening that intelligence. And the body says, well, great. We used to breathe from here and it felt good. I'm glad to be back.
Okay.
Thank you for reawakening that memory. And once you do that, 30 days or more, generally it's very difficult to breathe from your chest. You'll now become back to being a belly breather. And for students, young people, I think it's the tool that we could really help a lot of young people
Yes.
at the very beginning
Yes,
of life.
the fundamentals, the foundation. Well, Miss Ayo
Thank you.
Handy-Kendi, thank you so much for bringing your study of breath to us. We learned about breathology, and I'm going to look more into laughter yoga because
Yeah.
I'm all about.
Yes, you're a great laughter yoga person.
I'm all about the laughing.
Yes.
And you know, hopefully you'll come back and share with us some more techniques.
I
Maybe
would
we'll do
love
some little
to.
demonstrations.
I would love to.
Okay. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much for
much.
being here. Gregory, you want to say thank you?
Man, thanks, Miss Candy. I'm getting
Thank you,
certified. I didn't
Greg.
tell you that. I'm getting certified. Like,
Yes.
I do everything every guest does, but I'm really going to do this for real.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to look forward to you coming to our certification class as a breathologist.
Yes.
All right, well, you're going to get certified, but we got to go now.
Yes.
So we'll see you all next time on the Veronica Harris Show.
Breathe and relax.